A short trip ahead of a key Big Ten game has apparently turned into a very long day of travel for the Michigan State football team. The Lansing State Journal's Cody Tucker passes along the news that the Spartans will not be taking a 1-hour flight to the Chicago area after their plane was grounded due to unspecified issues. Instead, the team will instead be busing over to Evanston. EM being told MSU is busing to Evanston after the team's plane showed error before to take off at Antietam. Now, Cody Tucker at Cody Tucker LSJ October 27, 2017. The team was supposed to do a typical day before walkthrough at Ryan Field, but it seems that plan has been scrapped thanks to the slower form of transportation into the area. Google Maps says the 240-mile trip typically takes about 3 hours and 53 minutes, but traffic, especially on a Friday in Chicago, could push them past the arrival time. The game is set for kickoff at 2:30 local time on Saturday. This isn't the first time a Big Ten team has had issues with their plane in recent years, but thankfully all is well in this case. If the Spartans reach Northwestern via a slightly slower and more uncomfortable way, there's literally no one who saw this Florida State season playing out the way it has. No one. Last week we noted that at 24, FSU was off to its worst start to a season since Bobby Bowden's last year in Tallahassee. In week 9, things got exponentially worse for Jimbo Fisher and crew as Boston College bullied and pushed around a team that came into the season ranked 3rd in the country in a 353 win in Chestnut Hill Friday night. It marked the Eagles' first win over the Seminoles since October of 2009. Bowden's last year, the Eagles era en voor 241 yards on the Seminoles, 149 of those from A.J. Dillon, while FSU could manage just 64 on the ground on the night. The embarrassing loss drops FSU to 25 on the year, which means that with just 4 games remaining, they will likely need to win out to avoid being shut out of a bowl game for the first time since the 1981 season. Left on the schedule, home games against Syracuse and FCS Delaware State, road trips to a pair of rivals, no 7 Clemson, unranked Florida. It should be noted that there are a couple of scenarios in which a 5-win FSU could earn a bowl invite, although that merely serves to underscore how close to bottom they've got to bookend this by small first 3 quarters of 2017. FSU is now off to its worst start since Bowden's first season with the Seminoles way back in 1976. That 56 record was also the last year that the football program failed to win 7 or more games in a season. As for BC, they are now at 54, 1 win away from going to a bowl game for the 2nd consecutive season. It's also their 3rd win in a row and 4th in last 5 games after starting the season 0-3. Texas starting quarterback and center will be G. from Austin when their team plays at Baylor on Saturday, as neither were cleared to participate in the contest as they continue to go through concussion protocols. A school statement confirmed the news Friday afternoon that Longhorn signal Keller, Sam Ehlinger and sophomore Zach Selford both are out of the lineup and did not even travel with the team. Tuaco, head coach Tom Herman already confirmed that Shane Bugele would start under center, but there had been some holding out hope that Ehlinger would be cleared in order to back him up in case of an emergency. Bugele injured his ankle against Iowa State, originally knocking him out the lineup, and will be limited in terms of moving around in the pocket as a result. Junior QB turned receiver Jared Hurd is set to be the backup against the Bears at his old position. Perhaps just as big of a loss for the Horns is that of Selford, who was a big for Sunderland terrier of the line. With him out, junior Terrell Cooney is set to start at center. Baylor is 0-7 on the season and a 9-point underdog on Saturday, but the issues on the Texas offense could certainly make things a lot more interesting in Waco between the two in-state rivals this week. Joe Girardi was just let go as the New York Yankees manager, and while it is still possible he finds a new gig in the not-so-distant future, it appears there is one thing on his upcoming schedule that isn't changing: going to Alabama next weekend. He thinks he's coming to the LSU game, and he hopes bringing his whole family. Crimson Tide coach Nick Saban said Thursday night on his weekly radio show, according to USA Today, it'll be good to see him again. Saban and Girardi have apparently known each other for a while and have chatted and visited with each other over the years. Considering the pressures that the manager of the Yankees and the coach of Alabama face on a daily basis, it's safe to say that they might have something in common despite being in 2 very different sports. Girardi is no stranger to being around football either, as the Northwestern alum has been seen at at several Wildcats games and is friends with Pat Fitzgerald as well, with Nu on the road at Nebraska, settling in at Bryant-Denny Stadium to one of the biggest games of the college football weekend next Saturday, and Chet Absaban is not a bad way to decompress from the way things ended in New York. Hope before the tide things go smoother with Girardi in attendance than it did for the Yankees in their Game 7 ALCS loss. Florida State and Jimbo Fisher struggles are apparently not being confined to the gridiron and are extending onto the recruiting trail to the Seminoles were one of several schools to find out where Miami FLA Central has running back James Cook, the younger brother of FSU's all-time leading rusher and current Minnesota Viking Dalvin Cook, would be playing college football on Thursday night, and let's just say that he won't be winding up in Tallahassee to follow in Big Brother's footsteps. Cook is considered to be a 4-star recruit by 247 Sports and ranked as the third best tailback in the country. He joins what is now considered to be a top 5 class for the Bulldogs in the 2018 cycle. What makes things really interesting is that the younger Cook was at one point committed to Florida State as a junior for several months. However, he decommitted from the school in early July and looked closely at SEC rival Louisville before winding up with Kirby Smart in Athens. He should help cushion the blow of losing Sonny Michel and Nick Chubb after this year. FSU is still okay even without Cook's commitment though, as Jack Patrick likely returns as a senior next season and the team's current leading rusher Cam Akers will just be a sophomore.